Okay, so we are right back into another deck profile, and this time around we do have Mr. THICC Wolverine himself. One of the, I swear every single time I say your name, I want to say your actual name, only because I'm like, do I really want to say THICC? I feel awkward about that just coming out of my mouth. It's like now it just came to me. How you doing? How you doing? You want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me on the channel. Excited to be here. Hi everyone, my name's THICC Wolverine, but you can call me THICC for short, with 3 or 4 C's depending on your mood.
Listen, I'm feeling frisky, just a little bit more C's sometimes, I'm sure. Well, you are a person in the Discord. We all obviously met up in LA. That was fun. And then, whatchamacallit, recently we took this deck, or you took this deck, into the Untap box tourney, or tournament, whatever you want to say. I like saying tourney. And ended up going to the finals and did pretty well, I feel like. Very good showing, and that's why I wanted to go ahead and feature this deck, because obviously it's either I do this or I make my own, and for KEFLA, last time I tried to make one, it wasn't all that great. But I really do like how this one did. So, as far as you go, I forgot what I was gonna say. But how do you feel about this deck? What's going on? What's your overview before we go into anything?
So maybe just some overview, I guess. You know, everyone was playing SS3. I knew that the Untap tourney was going to be, you know, maybe tier 1.5 decks, like slightly off meta. I'm like, you know what? Let's try something new. I'm sort of burned out on SS3. You know, let's make something new work. Let's just try it out. And my friend had this crazy idea to, you know, chain attack into a green Kava, and I'm like, dude, that's stupid. But I gave it a try, and it surprised me. So it's a lot of fun, and you know, that's sort of why I play at the end of the day, is just to have fun. So I was pleasantly surprised by this deck and how well it worked after just a few tweaks. So fortunately, you know, it did also perform better than expected.
Of course, yeah, definitely. And I mean, that kind of goes in like the why of everything. Before KEFLA, and I kind of already know the answer. What are you used to playing?
SS3. You know, like everyone, it's a great card. It's you know, I came in to the game right after set 3, so you know, people say SS3 is training wheels, and it is. I think it's a great way for new people to learn, and you know, there's a lot of things you can do with it without going off into an SS3 tangent discussion. But
yeah,
you know, that's what I stuck with for a long time, and it allowed me the flexibility to try a bunch of different stuff, and I just wanted to change. So you know, blue, yellow, red, yellow, lots of fun. But never really played a mono red before.
Okay, yeah. Pan's my preferred mono red. I just love her. I will never give up on her. And for this one, I mean, I feel like the leader is really good. If you guys didn't know already, this is the ultimate box leader, KEFLA, the one that has kind of awkward looking awakened side art, to be honest with you. But the unawakened side is that when she attacks a leader card, she drops us Universe 6, which there are plenty in here, and into your drop area, and then you draw 2 cards, which is really good for early card advantage, especially if you get to actually use your life. And then on the awakened side, she does get to draw 1 card after she attacks, and then an activate main is once per turn you choose 1 Universe 6 in your hand and place in the drop area, and then choose 1 of your Universe 6 on the field. It gains 5k in double strike, which is very, very strong when considering the KEFLA down here, the big mama. So when we're talking about SS3 and how you came about this deck and thought about it, you kind of already answered that. If you replace this leader with SS3, do you feel like it would be a little bit better, or do you think KEFLA is the good choice for this, the right choice?
In this case, I think no. And maybe I can sort of go into why I'm such a fan of this leader for this build specifically. But you know, really, I sort of looked at the cards, and I'm like, well, the ultimate box stuff is new. Let's play with that. And there's a couple of things I really like. The pitch 1, draw 2 effect on the front side of the leaders. So I think KEFLA, Harudagai, and Jiren have that. Maybe somebody else too. But that was a huge plus. And then, you know, I took a look at her backside power, and I said, okay, well, that'd be pretty devastating on a dual attacker. And I'm like, wait, KEFLA's a dual attack, and it buffs itself. So you know, I don't think SS3 is sort of keeping that in mind, and you know that sort of goes into what sparked the idea as far as the U6 theme.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think SS3 really contributes to that much. You know, it might last a little longer, and sure, you could tweak the build to be a little more defensive, maybe a little more control-y, or you know, a little more mid-rangey. But I think KEFLA is the right choice for this one. Is it, you know, a tier 0 deck? Absolutely not.
Not many of those, thankfully.
No, no, thankfully.
And I think this is a pretty dang good deck when it gets going. Like the curve for this, and I literally just did a deck building video explaining a little bit about curve, but the curve for this I think is pretty damn good, because when you do get the chain attack trunks out after having the intensifying power trunks and evolving on it for 2, and then to get the Kaba, and then get the bold KEFLA, and then get the Kale or another Universe 6 like combo or whatever, it just kind of like snowballs basically, and I think that's really good. So the other thing is that we haven't really gone through all the cards. Do you mind going through all the cards and kind of the thought process behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me think about. Let's go ahead and yeah, I can just go, and I'm going to bounce around a little bit, but I'll try to keep everyone up to speed as best I can.
Okay.
So maybe I can talk about the lines of play first and sort of build off what you said. But you know, as you mentioned, when you get the whole goal of this deck is either to get the KEFLA on board or to get the chain attack out and chain attack into a Kaba. So really, in a perfect world, and I always say about this deck, when it works, it works. Meaning, you know, there's a potential for just your board to go from 1 card to 5 in one move. So, you know, ideally, you would drop an intensifying turn 1. Hopefully, it survives to the next turn, or either you leave it standing or you know, defend it. Turn 2, you evolve, intensifying into chain attack, which for 2 red is just nuts. Like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
You drop a Kaba, search the bold, Super Saiyan 2 KEFLA, and that finds, you know, either one of the Kales, hopefully the sister attack. You can hit a Kaba if you really need to. That's still another body, and it's a great card. And you've got everybody on board. And so really, once you have that, you can, you know, take a couple of pokes, maybe just leave everybody standing if they're not awakened, and then next turn you can do a Fearless Pan, you can swing and then Kotora into a KEFLA. There's just a lot of options from there. So maybe taking a step back, to make all that work, all these cards have to be in there. So really, intensifying power trunks, you know, he's a great self-awakener, but the front side is so good on KEFLA that I really don't care how early or late I awaken. You know, it's nice to have that activate main plus 5k double strike as a final sort of finisher, especially since some people forget it. They're not super familiar with the leader. That's a nice little surprise, but really intensifying is just there to make my chain attack cheaper. You know, even if you play it on the same turn, it becomes 3 red instead of 4. You know, if you drop the intensifying and then immediately evolve. So intensifying is there. It's just an evolved target. Chain attack, you know, his primary purpose is to get out the green Kaba, because we don't play any green other than the Kaba, so you never want to charge him. You know, you play 1, maybe 2 in a game, and then other than that, he's just combo fodder. Chain attack gets out the Kaba. If you don't have a Kaba, you can target almost anything else in this deck except another chain attack or the U6 KEFLA. So that's pretty cool. You know, moving on, really, you've got the vanilla KEFLA, you've got the sister attack Kale and the dauntless Kale. Those are all Kaba targets, and then obviously you need just a certain amount of, you know, material, if you will, for the KEFLA Vatora. So KEFLA being a little more important than Kale, 8 felt like the right number, and then you know, the free blockers are just invaluable in the dauntless Kale, and then sister attack, you know, I had it at 4 for a while for Kale, but I wanted to put in another foo or another negate, so I dropped her down to 3, and I think more often than not it worked out. So that's really all the sisters. You know, Kaba is in there because he's another U6 target. I think initially I had some more pans and some more negates, but you definitely don't want to pitch some of these U6 cards if they're the only ones in your hand. You know, it hurts to pitch a KEFLA with the leader effect. plus he's a chain attack target. He can attack standing, so that's pretty nasty when you go from, you know, an intensifying to all of a sudden you've got a chain attack and a Kava, and you've got two 20k targets that can attack standing cards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Fearless Pen is in there because with a wide board full of reds, you can't not have her.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember or if you saw the stream for it, but we were freaking the fuck out when you play Fearless Pen. Because as soon as you put that on the board, we were like, we're off. We were like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, I forget who it was. They said, what if he has a second one next turn? And I rewatched some of the playback. I'm like, God, that would have been the play of the century.
Yeah.
That's an example of when it works, it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that, you know, I'd like to run another Fearless Pan. I just haven't found the room for it yet. You know, 2 for Seeing Hit, like it's an amazing card, but I rarely play it just because there's a couple other plays sort of central to the strategy I've already discussed on turn 4, turn 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's a U6, so you know you can pitch it with the front side if you need to. You know, otherwise it's a great card. I wish I could have 3, but I just don't have a lot of room.
All right.
You know, 3 Kefla. It's a one cost 10k combo, so I don't want that to be too cloggy in my hand. And there's other lines of play if you can't get that out.
Mm-hmm.
Super combo, pretty obvious. You know, you got 4 of those. Now. That's pretty much the core. I've got Zeno in there as a chain attack target. 2 felt like the right number just because you're never going to charge a blue. He's, you know, he has no combo power. I hate playing him because, you know, as much as I like to tout this deck as off meta, I think chain attack Zeno is pretty meta.
Mm-hmm.
Kefla hit, they're pretty on meta. So, you know, I didn't want to lean on Zeno too much, but the combo is just so.
It just helps a lot. Like, and I remember one of the matchups, that was pretty much a godsend, like, just going into the chain attack and then Zeno.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean, that's
definitely on that one, too. So
wild. Just wild.
If for nothing else, just to keep the possibility open in your mind that, hey, I know at least I have one more turn, you know, if I draw this card.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of fun. You know, 2, I think is probably the right number. Maybe 3, but neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much the core. I think what we're left with after that is the negates and the Banisher. So Banisher, fantastic card. Why I'm running that over Scientist is I don't really have any hard removal in this deck outside of, I mean, I guess Zeno, and then if you want to count Kaba and Chain Attack as, you know, able to attack standing, but it's so satisfying just to drop a Banisher Fu for 1 cost and then pop something that's vital to their strategy. You know, whether that's an ape or, you know, anything else really.
Yeah, perfect for sell or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, you know, just a big body. Even I can U7 Frieza. That's an option. Not that anyone's playing that right now, but
you know, I just played that one. But yeah,
or blockers even.
Oh yeah, totally. I think warp into blocker is actually really, really effective.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, you know, I missed the Scientist, but I think the Banisher is probably just a little better for this build. So with that, we have the negate. So Unending Awakening, in case you don't know, it's a 1 cost red, negates the attack, and then your red Saiyan leader gains 5k for the turn. So it's like a pseudo Senzu Bean.
Yeah, I call it the ghetto Senzu Bean.
Yeah, it's the B stock, the B movie version. And I was convinced that was the answer to Storm and everything, and I didn't get much use out of it.
Mm-hmm.
What was the absolute best card in this deck? Amazing.
Time Kicker.
So many times. Time Kicker.
Time Kicker.
It's fantastic.
Wild.
Like, it's, you know, it's in there to shut off anything that you need for the rest of the turn. So Bardocks, swap targets, you know, the Bardock will come back, but any on-play effects that occur, like Bardocks take 1 life, will occur when it comes back into play, which is amazing.
It's just hilarious. It's like the KEFLA, the green KEFLA. Basically, you have to take a life. Same thing for the Bardock. As soon as it comes back, they have to take a life. So yeah, they're getting another card, but they don't get to decide when they actually take the life. You get to decide that.
And they weren't planning for it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's a little disruptive, and then, you know, it's even for something as simple like I used it on in the finals against KEFLA twice, and that saved me so much. So I was basically negating 2 attacks instead of 1 because it sent a dual attacker to the warp for the turn. And like so many of the big drop cards, like I sent it for saying hit once too. And the cool thing about his auto is it's on play, but it specifies it's on play from your hand. So certain autos, they sort of got that safeguard built in where if they come back from the warp, they're not going to get it the second time. So
right,
fantastic card. I wish I had run 4.
Right. In the mirror, in a very alternate dimension where this is a tier 0 deck, you just got to be careful with cards like Teen Attack Trunks, where they get to play it again and then play a 15k or less, or the bold KEFLA, where you get to shoot search the top 7 and then play another 15k or less, or another combo where you get to find a KEFLA or a Kale or something like that. So that's it's a good card. You just got to be really careful, of course. And
I do think it's important to have the mix between the two. But realistically, if you have to pick just one, I'd give it to Time Kicker. But I'm pretty happy with the 2-3 split.
Okay, for sure. And that's pretty much all the cards. I do have the side deck up. You want to talk about that real quick?
Sure. So to make a long story short, my side deck is terrible. I think anyone watching this, if they want to grab this, feel free to.
Bad. It's not bad. I can see the reasoning behind a lot of these cards.
I think, let me put it like this. I think there's a lot of potential to be had in the side deck. So, it's mostly just ratios. Strategies, Universe 7 is there for, in case they're running the Shugesh, Kid Goku combo. So, or even Kami's Power Piccolo, I was convinced that was going to be a thing. Yeah,
green leaders, green cards, yeah.
Yep, never really had the need for that. I guess you could use it if you're afraid they have a full power energy also.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that was in there. The scientist, I sort of see black as the toolbox of colors where, that's the most side deckable card. You've got, maybe you're playing against veggies, so you swap in a Mass Saiyan. That's sort of a no-brainer.
Right.
So, Scientist is there just because I think he's one of the best cards in the game. He's amazing. He's good in almost every situation. I just got a little more mileage out of Banisher. If you're going up against Mirror Chain or Cell Chain, Scientist is definitely going to be better than Banisher. So that was sort of what that was there for. The Mass Saiyan, like I said, if they just flood the field, go wide, sort of like I do, then that's a big help. It's a 20k double strike, just like Banisher. At 5 overwhelm 1, super easy to attain, especially with the front side of KEFLA.
Right.
So I just going back to what I said earlier about how important having the Universe 6 tag is for the front side. Like you're probably always going to have a U6 card in your hand, but it's not always the one you want to drop. So to the extent that I didn't want to dilute my U6 pool at all, I tried to sort of swap out the black for the black and keep it relatively constant for the U6 tag cards during 2 or 3. Capricious Destroyer, Champa, I think it's a good card. I just didn't really see much use out of it. It's really there for just to clear some of their 1-drops with 5k combo power or the free blockers, but didn't really get a chance to use it. And then this man, Universe 7 Saiyan Prince Vegeta. So in some sort of alternate reality, I was hoping that I would have the KEFLA out, give it double strike with the leader, swing twice for double strike, have them both negated or combat out or something. And then by some miracle have enough energy to drop this man, stand KEFLA, now she has triple strike and he has triple strike, but it's just a little expensive for everything else that this deck tries to do. I think the potential is there and I want this card to work, but haven't seen the light just yet.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be playing real careful or play up to that point because you have to probably have a KEFLA on board and then attack just like you were saying, and maybe even be unawakened somehow, some way with 5 energy, and then play this man, and then gain a triple strike. That's pretty damn good anyway.
Yeah, it's especially if you use it on something like a Kaba.
Yeah. Also,
because he's gonna get so that puts him at 30k upon swing, uncounterable triple strike.
Yeah,
that could be something.
I've been through that, and that's not fun.
Yeah,
that's not fun at all.
It's like, all right, I'm just gonna sit back and watch.
Yeah, pretty much. If this Vegeta was a 4-drop, it would get so much play.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
like a stupid amount of play. But I think 5 is just that weird number where you really have to work for it, and it just doesn't work out sometimes. But yeah, I mean, that definitely, I think I can see the use of it, and just a little bit of spice as far as that goes too.
Yeah,
So,
I like to try new stuff.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, overall, I think a very good. It's really good. Would you change anything now or no?
Yeah, I think so. So I took it to locals right after the Untap tournament that we did, which by the way was just a blast. So I can't wait for the next one. Highly encourage anybody listening to hop in.
Oh yeah. The tourney. I thought you were talking about the local tournament that you're being sarcastic. But yeah, no. Okay, I get you.
No, Untap was a lot of fun, sincerely.
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, overall, positive experience, which I'm glad. Definitely want to do the off-meta sort of thing going on next time, but we'll see. Definitely.
Yeah. No, so I think this is pretty tight. I mean, I think the ratios could use some adjusting. Banisher foo instead of scientist foo, that's sort of your prerogative to, which one you sort of counter what you expect the meta to be at your locals or, online or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
I think a third Zeno would be cool. If you don't mind sort of gravitating more towards the chain Zeno. It really is, for this deck, you either have a wide field or you're back against the wall, so those are conflicting lines of play. So if you've got 5 of your cards on the field, you're never going to want to chain Zeno.
Right.
Unless you're going for game that turn. So that's, maybe you find room for a third one there. I think I'd go a 4-1 split on the time kicker and the unending.
Okay.
So just really trivial stuff. Nothing central that I would really change here. As crazy as it sounds, hit I didn't get a ton of use out of. Mostly just because he's a 4-drop, and at that point I'm looking to play, either a hard cast a chain attack or dump a fearless pan and try to go for game and not leave myself completely vulnerable on the next turn. Or even hard cast a KEFLA. I think I did that 1 or 2 games.
Right.
So I mean, maybe there's that searcher 1-drop Kaba. I mean, I think he's great for this deck. I just didn't have the room.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look around. Honestly, it's a good tutor. The only thing I would say is saying Teamwork Kaba, but the whole deck would be. It would function completely different, so I don't think that's really a thing. But everything else, I think, I don't know. I don't think you should.
Yeah, I think this is sort of what it is at this point. Shoot, I feel like there was something else I was gonna say. Oh, one card that I wanted to work. I really wanted it to work. Was the Vados rare from set 1. So it's a 5-drop dual attack.
Yeah.
And when you swing, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. And you can play an alien.
Yeah.
I forget if there's a restriction on it or not, but
that's 15k or less, I want to say. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That sounds right.
Here you go. Yeah, so dual attack, and when it does attack, you look at the top 3 of your deck and then choose one alien with the power of 15k or less, and then play it.
Yeah, so that's if you could flip a green Kaba off of that, and then get lucky with the dig for 10, and maybe hit a Kalifla, that would be nuts. But
in a perfect world, yes, definitely in a perfect world.
Yeah, and then do it a second time even. But looking at the alternatives, KEFLA and hit and chain attack for that spot on the curve, it just doesn't make sense. So maybe one of the viewers can think about that and find a way to make that work in this deck or a variant.
Yeah, definitely. I do want that card to work. I maybe in a Super Saiyan 3, unfortunately, deck where you're playing like veggies or something like that, or a bunch of aliens, because there are other ones where like the Batamo, or I forget what his name, like gains like everything gains like 10k, or I forget.
Oh, that's right. It's like a mini Super Saiyan 3 promo.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly, and I'll have to look it up. But yeah, there's a lot of different things for that, and that's being slept on, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
But we'll see. If anybody does have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. What else? We kind of talked about the tourney already, right? And what it kind kind of been performing as well. But the only two losses, or the losses that you did get in the tourney, was really just Super Saiyan 3. What about the wins?
Okay, so yeah, so the wins, there was a lot of diversity in this tournament, so I was really excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
I did get 2 buys, so one of them was against Eggman, and I was sort of bummed. I was hoping to play him, but I'm sure we'll catch each other on Untap. But in the Swiss, I played a Vegeta Energy Lock deck with the Forced Ejection.
Yeah.
You know, and they sort of do the 1-2 swap, formerly known as Storm package as well. And you know, that wasn't too hard. The time kickers helped a lot. You know, bounce the Bardox if you could. I don't know if I actually got a chance, but the apes, without barrier, the Banisher food took them out. And then, you know, 20k blockers only go so far, so that wasn't too bad. I think this deck, that was a completely fair matchup. I don't think, you know, being locked at 3 or 4 energy is too hurtful for this deck, especially since Chain Attack is a 2-cost evolve target. So that definitely helps.
Yeah.
Let's see. I lost against Devin with the SS3, SS4 package.
Oh yeah, the GT, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then what were the finals? It was Kling, right?
Yeah, Golden Frieza versus
semis.
you, and then you versus Super Saiyan Red Blue.
Yeah, the Red Blue is burned in my memory. Just lots of fun times on the finals. But yeah, for the semifinals, it was the Golden Frieza deck just did work against me. That Goldo and the Sorbet just tore me apart. Like, for those of you that don't know, I think Goldo comes into play. He taps a 2-drop or less if your leader is Frieza's army.
Yes, correct.
And you know, my whole game plan, if you guys are sticking with us this long, is to drop the intensifying power Trunks, and then, you know, start flooding the board with, you know, the Kales of the world and the cheap KEFLAs, and I need those things to live for more than one turn. So that sort of threw me off guard, and then, you know, Untap gave me some trouble with the hotkeys, and I just got sort of off center with that. But I was able to come back. You know, I sided in Mass Saiyan, that helped out a little bit. Time Kicker did work as always, and just played a little more conservative and let them swing into me to awaken, and it worked out.
It's good.
So definitely, you know, at no point during any of the matches, wins or losses, did I just sit there and feel helpless, you know, and say like, okay, well, it's an auto win for the other person. So that was always fun, you know, to say, well, at least there's a chance.
There was definitely a chance. I think you've proven that as well. And if anything, I think it did pretty well. It was very entertaining, if anything. Yeah, I'm glad as well that we had some diversity, and hopefully in the next one we do as well. Hopefully I can get that arranged and get some pricing going. Hopefully get some more KEFLA people, not only after watching this, but in the tourney too. But
yeah,
that's pretty much it. I mean, I personally don't have any suggestions for it. I think if I did, I would probably change up the whole goddamn deck. But Time Kickers, MVP, KEFLA is super strong. Veggies in itself are really good when they get going. As far as the sideboard deck, I mean, we probably have to sit down and really understand what we want to do, or what you want to do as far as that goes. But as a mostly mono red, if not pretty much mono red deck, this is pretty much as good as it gets until we have other stuff released. I mean, we have the red Videl counter, and that's pretty much it. That's been released in the World Tournament that I can know of, or that I know of.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Deborah, but I think the Hit's a better card, especially in this deck.
Yeah, the board is actually a really interesting card. I mean, I have the, it's just like, I don't know, I have to like test it out a lot and see what's up.
Yeah, I agree.
That's pretty much it, right? I think we covered most of, if not everything. Any closing thoughts, any final words, anything else like that?
Not too much. I just say, you know, thanks for hosting the tournament. It was a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of cool people. I saw some new faces on there too. You know, I definitely appreciate everyone in the tournament taking a chance with, you know, some maybe not so hyper meta decks, and, you know, sure, there's a fair mix in there that could be considered that, but it's all in good fun. It's a card game, so that was a lot of good times. And you know, I definitely encourage everyone to just give things a try, because, you know, my friend was actually the one who had the idea for this. He's like, all you got to do is chain attack into the Kappa and you're set. I'm like, that's ridiculous. It's never going to work. And then I tried it. I'm like, holy crap, this works, and it works really well.
Right.
So it's one thing to sit there and say something that, hey, this doesn't work on paper, but then you try it, you're surprised, you eat your own words, and then you let everybody know. So.
Exactly. Okay. Well, definitely. I completely agree. I love diversity and just creativity and just like overall just stuff that you just don't see too much. Even I will take a stab at this sometime or another. And in case you're wondering, because we didn't say, I don't think well, we did say who won, but the winning deck was Super Saiyan Red Blue. It is literally the same thing of Scorches / Corbins, who won Otakon. And I do have a whole video about that as far as the interview and his deck choices and his thought process at the time. And he is part of the Wise Guys team, so I'm not really allowed to. I mean, I can do it, but it'd be a kind of a dick move for me to do that as far as the feature of the deck that they already have. So definitely go check that out. Go check out Wise Guys if you're interested in that deck. But for this one, definitely let us know what you think. Like, dislike, comment, all that other jazz. And if there's nothing else, THICC. I appreciate you talking about it and taking the time for this.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Anytime you want.
For sure. Well, that is it. I will see you guys in the next one. Later.